All right, man. First question about BMF. Love the show. Checked it out. Loved everything about it. But I gotta ask you, man. First things first, man. These theme songs. Now you keep hitting with these theme songs. Now I gotta ask two parts. Now, was there originally a theme song for Life like you have done for every other show? And how do you just keep coming up with like classic theme songs for each one of your shows?
You know what it is? Look, I did do something for Life, and then when with the ABC, the way they were, the team that was around the show, at points that they didn't understand what I was giving them when I'm doing it. So I go, nah, leave that off of it. Don't even give it to them because don't even let it do what it does. It doesn't need me to vocally be on it. Like you gotta go. Sometimes artists they compete for a slot that they can't have. My audience, my core audience was in college. Let's say they're in college or having an adult experience for the first time in 2003. They
Right.
can socially interact with the people that they think are the most exciting people without me being present in the room. Musically, I would be on. You can't escape me wherever you're going at that point. And it's new because the hip part of hip hop is youth culture. It's new, it's fresh. It's something that's there. And then once you've been around, if you can, you're definitely significant if you can sustain sticking around. It says that artist is a different kind of artist being able to stay because the coach is out with the old and in with the new. And for me, I look at it like this. I'm not even servicing a new audience. I'm servicing the core. Those people who were in college in '03 in the heyday are now watching the programming I'm doing on television. They're not at the nightclub every night because their kids are at the fucking nightclub now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
this is really what's going on. So I like fit into a space where I can make deals. I'm talking to people that were affected the most by the material that I created. Like when I'm making a deal, I'm in the room with these people. So they understand the significance of what I've done creatively. And then when I looked at For Life, it was like, so this Disney, man. So a lot of it is like they didn't really understand what that would mean promotional wise for it. Like the theme song for Raising Canaan is already at 100 million in audience and still playing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's barbecue music. That don't go away. That the right time comes around and they'll play that record again because it's done well. Now, if you look when I approached this one with BMF, like Wish Me Luck, that joint, it hasn't been heard in its entirety. That's Moneybagg Yo, myself, and Snoop Dogg on that song, right? So building out records music that means something culturally at the same time while putting it into the programming is the idea. And then he's like, they'll get a chance to feel the full effects of it as the show premieres. Because I didn't want to cut the legs off of the other song. I left that one playing and
Right.
said I'll launch this one along with the actual show so it doesn't knock that off, So
Now being a theme song king now, like pretty much more a theme song god, if you have to put it. Man, you got Get Rich Town, you got All Part of the Game, and you got Wish Me Luck now. So we gotta ask, man, which is your favorite out of the three?
well, I think Big Rich Town is my favorite because I mean that one played almost 10. Yeah, man. I had that record playing for 8 years.
It's been
You see the difference? The song doesn't go away.
no.
That's it. When the program, when the shows are hit, the songs are hit. Like nobody, I fucked up, man. I tried to change the theme song. Like nobody changed the theme song to Sanford and Son, shit like that. It was supposed to be that. When you heard that, you knew it was your favorite show.
Yeah.
So I just had creatively an idea. I said, yo, we could make it younger, cooler. Like I did it with Joe. Let's do it with Trey Songz. Like it's the option of here.
No, it didn't work out.
Like it wasn't worth fighting because you know what happened. The version with me and Trey was working at radio. It was playing, and they was going no, put my shit back. And I'm like, all right, it's not worth the fight. Just put it back the way they want it. You know?
Now in BMF, you have I would say you have a lot more creative freedom, whereas different from the Power Universe, because now you have in BMF, you have Snoop Dogg, you have Eminem making appearances. Now, do you feel like it's the success of Power that gave you the freedom to
Right.
involve way more of your rap peers and idols in these shows now?
But it allowed the network to be more comfortable with my choices, you know, and they'll look like BMF. This project has been, I sold it to Starz 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it feel like, yo, 50 is just like back to back to back. But it took a while for him to get through the development process with this one. And I sheesh, like I look at it like now when I'm making choices like Lil Meech, I looked at him, I knew I'm looking around at all of the younger when I got the first draft of the writing, and I was like, I don't see the younger version of Meech in the television space. So I'm like, we're gonna find them. And I had the one of the top casting directors in Hollywood send me choices for it, and none of it matched up to me. And I was like, yo, why don't I just get him? You know what I'm saying? Like, go
Play
get him.
his father, to play his father. Right.
And I went and I stopped, like I stopped him. He was in an ill space in his life too, because he was deciding he didn't want to go back to college.
Right.
You know, and then when you have those strong influences around you that, you know, like from your dad's life, you know, there's a high potential sways you into doing things a little different outside of the lines of the law. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm catching him right before he does any of that shit and sending him to LA. If he was in Atlanta, I sent him to LA. I'm like, yo, moved him to a whole new space, had him in school three times a week with acting coaches and stuff like that. And it took about 18 months, but he made it. He was ready.
Now, as far as Lil Meech, man, when people see him on this show in the first episode, man, he's explosive. Now, you knowing you doing starting this 4 years ago, starting this journey 4 years ago, and seeing like the whole thing come to fruition now, man, just seeing Little Meech on the screen now as a not as somebody behind the scenes, but as a viewer, what is it about you that you were like, man, just you knew he was a natural from the jump, but just seeing him explode on the screen like he does is just something that can't be taught. Like you said, you send him to school three times a week, but that energy that he gives off is just too magnetic.
Because he lived in it. He lived in his dad's footsteps anyway. You know what I mean? Like everybody was from telling them a story or some shit that happened between his dad and how it was. And he was too little to know what that was then. You know what I'm saying? But he grew in that. So you got when you get him into having a full understanding of how to convey it, that energy, man, like he says stuff sometimes, he make my eyes water. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to say that. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? I'm tough. I'm a tough guy. You know what I mean? Like, because now, but really, like you think about it, like when O'Shea is receiving the opportunity to play Ice Cube in NWA, he has been raised pretty well.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the light-skinned Ice Cube had everything. I call O'Shea that. Like, we worked together on Den of Thieves.
Yes.
I said he's extremely talented also, but he's been trained the whole way. Like he's been in art.
And his father was a part of his life the whole way.
The whole way.
Like his dad went away and
Right.
figure it out on his own.
It's a different thing, but with Lil Meech, having the opportunity to just have an influence, right? The way he perceived me, he took it serious enough. You know what I mean? And the way he views his dad is like, that's his hero, man. Like, regardless to the circumstances, we grow, you know, sometimes like, not everyone's kids love him like that. But when for a lot of time, a lot of parts, the strongest person in your household is your dad. And you see it. Like, you know, like when your mom's is not picking you up no more because you're getting a little big there.
Right.
Dad is still picking you up. Your sibling, your parent, they can still do it. They can still show you that affection that way. And that, I think is a part of it. But he it's really interesting. Like I had put out a behind the scenes, it was a small piece from a behind the scenes thing that it had me in conversation with Meech. And he was like, yo, it didn't happen overnight, right? Because before I sold to Starz, it was almost 2 years before that I ran into the project with Grindstone. It was Barry and Stan and Lionsgate. They brought it to my attention. I was like, yeah, that's definitely a story we're doing. And it's the other stories of that magnitude of bigger period pieces. They go back further. Like 2005, I don't have to change every car in the street. I don't have to do all of that. And like, it still feel like some of the stuff now, they still riding around in 05.
Right.
Like, so we can find all that stuff easy. Everything's right there. So when you think of like BMF in that time period, they also were a part of things shifting. Like when music started to come from Southern-based markets, crack house, trap music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, I think it makes them even more iconic because of the street references that go into hip hop culture and the music. They've been a part of it the entire time. You know what I mean? Like not the specifics of the artists that were associated with them, but just their journey, their run. Their run happened in front of everybody in a way where it was like, on page 3 in the rule book for drug dealers where it says, do not show people your fucking money.
Right.
they absolutely skipped that page.
Now, I mean, it's become a trend now with playing polarizing characters like an Ice Cube and like a Big Meech, man. It's always seemed the best choice would be their sons. Now, for 50 Cent, now could you see Sire playing you in the future?
Oh man, that's Sire, pretty boy, Asian, curly head.
But hey, the way technology works, man, we can make it. He can definitely pull you off.
But Makai is doing an amazing job raising Kanan, and like when I watch him, like for playing the younger version of me for Kanan, I'm like, yo, he got this shit all the way down back. Like he's watching. He must have been even studying interviews and stuff that I've done just to see how my speech patterns and stuff like that. But he's really talented, man. I'm excited about him also.
No doubt. Now, BMF, the music is just the whole background, the sound is completely different from everything that we're used to from you, man. Now, as a viewer, you watching it and hearing the music, did you, was you like, man, this is way different than what I'm used to? Was you in there watching it, and bouncing around, like doing different moves? And I saw when she was in there, when they were when Coco was in there waiting for everybody to show up, she was moving, and she looked like she was having a seizure, and it was different, but it was the dance of that time. Like, were you watching it and just being like, man, this music is going to definitely just really shock people?
Take them somewhere else. And look, the time period, a lot of in Detroit in that time period, what they were listening to, like we had the best consultants for the show possible. We got Meech and Terry. T being out loans himself to it at times that you can't get to the telephone in the jail, but they can. Like in those early periods, he's like, nah, we was listening to this and this and this. So we were able to put things into the actual film that were accurately the pieces that influenced them, like how they felt when the Run DMC shit came, like with the King of Rock and all of that. And then this is why we used it for the trailer. And then it's one of those things where, like musically, the show, I think it does capture Detroit player shit on some levels. Like if you think of how they made it their business to get dressed, come out, and be as fly as possible when they were socially interactive. It started with just their outfit, and it evolved over time. Like even the things that I know you'll understand culturally, like the Freaknik, right? When people would travel to go to Freaknik, and you go, Meech went down there and was like, "Yo, I could work from down here." He didn't want to go back. Like, he's like, "Yo," because it was like I'd never seen no shit. He said, "I ain't never seen no shit like that before." He said, when I got the Freaknik, I was like, "Yo, I'm cool here. I can start from here."
Right.
It meant that they would move into Atlanta and do some different things there at different points. And then you got the journey to St. Louis through California, and then the interactions with the Mexicans. When they get to that point, like when they really start getting real. And then there's like, it was at a point where it was the largest indictment that fell since the transition of things. You know, I think along with Southern-based music emerged dance culture into hip hop. You know what I mean? Like even Pop, when you see him, he got his own little dance and shit he doing with the shit. And you look at it, you go, all of these, like the new version. And I looked at it like he wants to do what I did. It's just the new version of it. And look what it come with. They got the dance package. They got all this other shit that wasn't really a part of, you know, the presentation when I came. You know?
Definitely. Well, like I said, man, BMF is another knockout for you. Another knockout under your belt, man, as a film buff now, man. I mean, I just want to say we love it. I know fans are gonna love it. It's definitely something different than Power, but it definitely gives that same feel of nostalgia and magnetism behind it, man. I just want to thank you just for just presenting this to our culture, just capturing a culture.
You know how you can tell when something is connecting and means something different. I seen LeBron. He put the trailer up. Easy Money Sniper, KG put it up. Few even do, and they look because they're the time period. Like we come. LeBron is mine. That's my stuff.
Yeah.
He come in 03. When I come in 03. You're looking at it's over there. You watch basketball. You watch LeBron. This is what we came at the same period, so the impact's a little different. Like the musically, that was in his headset. He went through my whole run. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that he did when I came with Power. He produced Survivor's Remorse. It was right back to back. The shows played back to back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like there's a different little thing. Like people, I think when you come in those different eras of the different things, it affects you a little differently because it's spot on for the moment, and things shift as you move ahead. There's new versions, new music, new artists, new ideas that appear, but there's a different kind of connection there. And I think when you start seeing these people are hugely influential, you know what I'm saying? And when they take the time, stop and put it up and do it, I'm like, wow, like. It's exciting, you know, to see them accept it and respond to it in that way.
For sure. Now BMF airs this September. So like I said, we got I'm Boom. This is 50 Cent here, man. We gotta always represent. Thank you for everything you've done, man. Just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep supplying us Black kids with jobs, man, in this entertainment field, man. So we're gonna let you go and get out of here. Hey, this is 50 Boom. 50 Cent, we out here. Peace.